morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning Five here on Wednesday, May 10th, 2017. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm very happy to be joined by Patrick Murphy. Patrick, a couple interesting topics I want to talk about on today's show. You wrote about both these topics for Bucknuts. The early signing period, which will take effect this year. There's been a lot of talk over the years, should there be an early signing period in football? Well, now there's going to be one, December 20th through the 22nd, so we're going to hit on that. Also, the next topic is not official yet. In fact, it has a long way to go before it becomes official, but there's an idea out there, a push, where players that are redshirting, freshmen that are redshirting, can play in the bowl game, and it will not affect their eligibility. They would still be a redshirt freshman the following season. They could just play in that one game, so we're going to hit on that to end the show. But let's start out with the early signing period. That is in effect December 20th through the 22nd this year. Urban Meyer, I imagine, is not a fan of this. Your thoughts on the early signing period, and maybe give us maybe what you think Urban Meyer's reaction was when he heard this came down.
Yeah, I think Urban's made his thoughts pretty clear about an early signing period. I think on one hand, he's got a daughter who played volleyball collegiately. He's got a son who played both high school football, high school baseball. I know he's a much better high school baseball player, was looking at college. So he's been through kind of the recruiting cycle on those fronts and seen, the other side of things from what he normally does on a recruiting trip and whatnot. So I think he has an understanding for the fact that while it's on a different level than probably these football players, that these kids, have a big choice to make and their minds may change and, they should be able to take their visits and things like that. And, he said that he thinks football players should be able to change. I think one of his quotes was, let them change their mind 100 times or something similar to that. So he's got that. He's also at a program that, dominates recruiting and has had success since he took over flipping prospects. This in his mind, this allows the smaller programs to get guys signed up early and not give the bigger programs a chance to come in and flip if for some reason they lose out on somebody or somebody develops better, things like that. And he's talked about, speeding up the recruiting cycle and having to watch kids play earlier or offer them scholarships before they get to see them, things like that. So I certainly see what Urban's talking about in this. But with the news that the early signing period is going to happen in December, I don't see a huge amount of argument because, you're only talking about a couple months from this National Signing Day in February. It gives a chance for these kids to, kind of get that out of the way before going into the holidays, which I imagine is kind of will be relieving for them. Let them kind of put the decision aside. I've signed my letter of intent. Now I can go on with Christmas and New Year's or, whatever it may be. Enjoy the winter break that high schoolers have. So, on that side of things, I think it's a positive. Obviously over those last few months, maybe something would have come up for some kids, but I think most kids at that point that are willing to sign were probably pretty cemented into their decision. So, I can see the pros and cons, and it'll be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah, Nate Meyer is going to play baseball at Cincinnati. I just want to throw that out there because you mentioned Nate Meyer going through the process. He's going to go to the same college as his mother and father. Obviously, Urban Meyer has a graduate degree from Ohio State as well, but both Shelley and Urban got their undergraduate degrees from Cincinnati, so Nate's going to go play baseball down there. Regarding the early signing period, I have mixed emotions about it. I don't think it's that big of a deal because, as you mentioned, it would be a tremendous deal if they did this like in August, like they do kind of with basketball. How basketball, you have the early signing period right before the season starts, which I always thought that's how they would do it in football. They would put it like in August, maybe like late July or something like that. So I don't think it's a huge deal. Plus, you have a lot of kids now that enroll early, so they basically have to make their decision by then anyway, at least, a week later than then anyway by now. So it's not a huge deal, but it's still a deal. It's still maybe it's not a huge deal, but it's a relatively big deal. And I think it's good for the smaller programs, bad for the bigger programs, to kind of make it simplistic. And, maybe it'll work out for Ohio State in certain instances, but it seems like everything they do in college football now, they've made it better for the big programs. This is an interesting one where they've made a rule change where I think this is good for the smaller programs and the lower tier Power 5 schools, and really bad for the schools like Ohio State and Alabama.
For sure. I think, maybe we won't know, I guess, how many kids maybe would have flipped over those last, the rest of December going into January and then into February. But we've certainly seen kids do that in recent years. There's plenty of examples for Ohio State that have worked out in Ohio State's favor. As you mentioned, a lot of the top Power 5 schools get it on kids late and really make a push, and then they end up going there over schools that have been recruiting them for years. So, maybe a little bit more competitive balance. I don't know if it's going to change the landscape of college football at all, but, some of these schools that don't tend to land the biggest recruits, but are in recruiting hotbeds, maybe a Rutgers, that might be a little extreme, but, in a place where there's a lot of talent around, maybe they can get some kids to sign on a little early and, get some extra talent in there, just to use that as an example.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what Urban Meyer says about this publicly. You think he'll come out because he's been adamant he does not want an early signing period in football, even though he did mention, he does see both sides because of his children and everything, as you mentioned. You think he's going to come out and say, yeah, I don't like this, or you think he's going to kind of, I don't want to say toe the company line. I mean, he doesn't work for the NCAA or anything like that, but, what do you think Urban Meyer's public statement will be on this when we get a chance to talk to him about it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to Ohio State football, Urban Meyer writes the company line, so he'll say what he wants. I think that if he doesn't make a statement on it the next time we talk to him, he will certainly get asked about it because, as you mentioned, he's been so public about it. He discussed it as recently as last September. Going back and looking at some of his quotes this week, I think it was middle of September, he talked about it twice in 1 week, once to us and once on the call-in show. He's obviously very adamant about it, and it comes up, and, I'm certain that someone will ask him about it if he doesn't bring it up on his own. And, I imagine that he won't be as harsh on it because, like we mentioned, it's in December and not, 6 months, 7 months ahead of time. But I do see, him having some issues with it, and it just speeds up the recruiting calendar, a month and a half or whatever, more than it was. And, he's an advocate of slowing it down and getting guys to get to play their senior year and coaches watching them and whatnot, and then offering scholarships. So, now you have to do it a little bit earlier. I don't think it changes too much, but, he wasn't happy with the current system, so I don't imagine this will help it.
Yeah, if they're preparing for a playoff, that really throws a monkey wrench in your plans because you're sitting there planning for not just a bowl game, but, a national championship. And I think they really they're always recruiting over there, but now you're talking about signing guys and not losing guys. And if you're going to flip somebody, you have to do it now because they're going to sign between December 20th and 22nd. And I think Urban really liked the idea of, they're always recruiting, but they were able to have that, month or so after the season ended where they could just do nothing but recruit till signing day. So that's the one thing I could see if Ohio State's in the playoffs, that could affect their recruiting a little bit. I just don't think with those guys over there, who they have in place, Urban Meyer at the top and all the way down, everybody they have, Mark Pantoni does a great job behind the scenes. I don't think it's going to affect them that much, but we shall see. I just find it interesting that we've talked so much about an early signing period and it's finally here, so it's going to be really intriguing to see how it plays out this year. All right, let's switch gears and talk about another very interesting topic. As I mentioned earlier, the idea now that you could be a freshman that's redshirting but still play in the bowl game and it doesn't affect your eligibility. You still save that year. I like this idea, and here's why, because I do think it's not going to become an epidemic, but we are going to see more and more players sitting out bowl games. We're not going to see as many, I think, as maybe some people fear because keep in mind, there's only so many guys that are projected as first and second round picks. You're not going to see like a seventh round pick sitting out bowl games, in my opinion. Guys are going to want to play their final college game just to have that fun or to get extra film for the NFL draft. But for those first and second round picks, you're going to see a lot of those guys pull a Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette. I have no doubt about that. Or Bradley Roby, who did it for Ohio State a few years ago. I think Jabril Peppers absolutely did it this year too. Again, though, this is a long way off. It will not take effect till this year. If it does pass, it'll be the 2018 season at the earliest. I like this idea, Patrick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And just to clarify, the rule, it's been looked at a lot the way you mentioned as the bowl game, and I think that's how it's going to be used. But the rule change would be that freshmen or any player that's redshirting for that matter can play in 4 games throughout the course of the season, including the postseason, I guess. So, that means not only would you be able to play the guy in the bowl game after he's had, that month of practice to take that next step. And I know the coaching staff, at least Ohio State and I assume elsewhere, kind of looks at that as stepping into the next season anyway for some of these young guys. But it would allow these guys to play during the regular season without fear of burning that red shirt. Maybe get them in some of those non-conference blowout games, or if there's I read an example of teams that have had really bad injuries at one position where 3 quarterbacks or a few running backs go down. All of a sudden, you're left with one player who you were planning on redshirting, and now you have to use him for a game or two, and then he done for the year again. So I think it'll be if it passes, it'll be a nice change. Allow these guys to have some opportunities and still be able to use their or not use their eligibility for that year. As it goes for the bowl games, I think it not only would help in the sense that you get these guys to maybe replace some of the guys that are sitting out the game, but just in general, there's been so many bowl games, so little excitement around a lot of them because the college football playoff is where everyone wants to be. There's some of these old BCS games are still exciting, but the interest isn't there unless you're part of that fan base that there used to be at the bowl games, because they don't really mean anything anymore. If you're getting a kid out there who maybe is playing in one of his first few games, who's really motivated, and fans are interested in seeing this 4- or 5-star recruit, or whatever the situation may be, there might be a little bit more interest. It's exciting for these kids to play for the first time, and especially if they're playing in place of a guy who's decided to sit out early, and more power to them because they're getting ready to start their careers and make money, and you can't really blame that. But I do think it could kind of turn interest and make things kind of take a step back to where we used to be when everyone loved bowl season and the bowl games actually meant something, even if they really didn't.
Hey, thanks for the clarification, and that's interesting. I don't like the idea of you could play up to 4 games. To me, that's just too convoluted, and I don't know. I just like the idea of this guy's redshirting, but then he can play in the bowl game, which is originally how I read it. I didn't realize you play up to 4 games. That's the proposal, at least. So maybe it'll be parsed down, and it'll be more what I'm talking about is just for the bowl game. Because if you can play up to 4 games, it's just, I don't know. That's just, I like the idea of you're redshirting, but you can play in the bowl game, because it's just a kind of as a lot of people have said for years, the bowl game is really the first game of the next season, unless you're playing for a national championship. Your thoughts on that? Would you like it if it was just for the bowl game, or do you like it that the proposal is you can play up to 4 games and you're still considered a redshirt? When
I first read the rule, I thought 4 games was a little much. For some teams, you're talking about a quarter of a season there. For the regular season, I guess that is a quarter of the season. So, it seems a little excessive to me. I do think it's interesting because, like I mentioned with the injuries, at Ohio State there's a lot of depth, but other programs I could see where that could become, a chance to get you through a game or two, because, if you need a running back, if you need a lineman, something like that to step in, and, should the kid lose his year, because of that. But, 4 games seems like you're really starting to kind of lean on the guy for an extended period of time. So I was surprised that it was that many, but, I do think in terms of the player, it could help in terms of development. You get, a chance to experience college football without, throwing away an entire season. Whether that really makes a difference down the road, I'm not sure, but I don't see it hurting the player necessarily. I read an argument that I guess has become refrained from some people about giving these guys 5 years, that college students hardly ever finish college in 4 years. Why not give them 5 years of eligibility? And that seems a little extreme, just because it's changing things quite a bit. But letting them play in a couple games, I don't think is an issue. And the bowl game makes the most sense, and I think that's why everyone's kind of gravitated towards that, because I think that's where you'd see it used the most. Because, we've seen plenty of times these guys have really good bowl practices. You hear about them leading up to the game, and then they can't play, and it's, this kind of carries over into spring practice, and you have to wait until the fall to see them. So a bowl game would provide that opportunity when, the lights are still shining, and it's usually a pretty solid opponent. But, it's not a game that is going to make or break a season.
Great insights from Patrick Murphy. Thank you very much, Patrick, and thanks to all the listeners out there for tuning in to the show. I appreciate it and hope you have a great day. Let's hear some Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.